Alright guys, let's jump straight into this. Stream should be up by now. I'm bringing you not only what I feel, but what's proven to be very reliable skills that you can put your points into, and also the perk system. Now, as you see in the top right, I'm only level 47, so I don't have all of the skills and perk points yet. You get 22 skill points total and 22 perk points total. But when you very first start off, you're definitely going to want to start in the Stalker tree. Now, with doing so, as you see here, you're going to want to max out the first tier 0 is what it is, locate tracks. As you can see, that's just going to help you be able to track your animals, and doing so, you're going to be making more money and more XP, since you won't be losing many animals or wasting extra time trying to find certain animals that you've already shot. Now, you can either just put one in here to open up this tier 1, or you can go ahead and put all 3 in at first. I would definitely recommend that you put 1 in this to open up tier 1. And you're going to want to put your first 2 into this one here. I'm only happy when it rains. It decreases your visibility in foggy weather and decreases your visibility in rainy weather. I mean, one of the main keys to hunting is to not be heard, not be seen, and not be smelled. That's going to be your main focus in hunting for real life, which I grew up hunting. So I definitely love this one. It helps out a lot. There's a lot of times when I'm playing multiplayer that I can be even closer to an animal than a buddy would be, and a lot of times they'll see him off to the side and run in the opposite direction of him and run me over, or vice versa. This one here, the main thing for this is level 2. As you see, whenever it tells you the animal's approximate health when investigating blood trails, that is very key. I mean, there's many times where you'll have a very low blood trail. I always tell everyone, if it says very low, do not follow it. Now, sometimes the thing is, though, is you can come across that very low blood trail later, and you'll check it, and it'll say 0 to 25 health for that very low blood trail. So now you have a chance of that animal actually dying, and you might be close to finding another body. That's going to be key. That's going to help you out a lot to save time from not following animals that aren't worth it. I would not recommend to do hardened. You get 15% health. That's nothing. I mean, if you need health, just go to the point and rest, or, use a med kit, or just die. I mean, it's not like you lose anything when you die, from what I've seen. You keep the same XP, same everything. I would not waste a skill point in this. I think that's one of the most worthless and pointless skills on this game. Also, along with these green ones, I never would put anything into any of these green ones if you don't have to. They're never going to be worth it. So moving on to tier 2 here. This one, I've done it before. I reset my skill points. I could get an extra skill point, since I don't really use this. I mean, it's come in handy for me probably 2 or 3 times, but it doesn't justify wasting a skill point here when I could put it elsewhere. I mean, I'm sure you all have read it by now on the screen. It just puts dots in between the tracks, so no matter how many tracks you find from the same animal, it puts them in order so you can see what's the latest track so you can find it. I've always just found, you should be able to do that on your own. You don't need the phone to connect the dots. Like I said, the main time it happened to me is one of the last story missions on Leighton Lakes. That one came in handy for it. This one here is another one that I would, as soon as you can open up tier 2, I would dump 2 points into this. It reduces the noise generated when moving through foliage, grass, leaves. Reduce the noise generated when moving through larger vegetation, such as bushes and shrubs. That one, I mean, this is very key, because most of the game, You're going to be crouched, stalking animals, and when you're going through those bushes and brush, I mean, that's where they're always going to hear you and just take off. Now, if you can cut back on that noise, and a lot of times if I'm getting close, I'm going to lay down and crawl through and minimize that noise the best I can. Now, whenever you can finally unlock Tier 3, further decreases your visibility when inside large bushes and shrubs. Now, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos for the skill, and I've looked at, I'd say about all of them on YouTube. And a lot of people tell you not to do this because when you're at a tree, it puts a black line on your visibility showing that they can't see you. Well, this isn't for trees. This is for large bushes and shrubs, and that's where a lot of them miss it. This is very key. I mean, you can even be in the middle of a field where you have the real tall grass, like the 5 foot tall grass or so, and you can be in there and they won't see you. This skill is very much worth it. Another one that is key is this one here. This is going to help you be able to get shots on faster. Your heart rate rises slower when moving and falls faster when you're not moving. That way, if you're running through the forest and you see something 200-300 yards out and you want to get a shot on it before it ducks into, a thicket or, however you want to say, behind some trees or bushes or so be it, you can stop moving. That heart rate's going to come down real quick, and that way you're going to be able to hold your breath and take a shot on that animal. This one is very important. This one here you don't have to do. I like to just because I like to shoot things very far distance. And when they're behind a lot of trees and such, it may be hard to see them. But if they call out, and with this skill here, it's gonna narrow down the field to where you can look at a certain pinpoint area and more than likely see the animal moving behind the brush. I mean, of course you can move up on it, try to call it out. I like to see it and take the far shot and make a good shot. It just makes the game a little bit more challenging, and I love that. Now, this one here, when I get another skill point, I'm probably going to drop one. Maybe not the next skill point, I won't drop in here, but later on, if I have any extra, I will. It adds a new track type, so if you have some of the harder animals, it's going to put an extra thing in the way. So you're not just only following tracks. It kind of looks like the sleeping areas. It is very nice, but again, I took it off so I could put something in ambush, which we're going to move over to right now. This rain is so loud, so I hope I'm not screaming right now, but I just feel like I have to talk over the rain. That's one thing this game does real well, is it makes it like real life, where the rain is very heavy and hard to hear people. But again, so I mean, as you can see here, I would definitely focus on, these main ones that I've shown. Stay away from harden at all cost. Stay away from the connect the dots. Stay away from all of the green ones. And again, it's your call on the vocalization here. It's up to your play style. If you don't need that, you could use those 2 points elsewhere. Now let's move over to Ambusher. You have to put one in this one. I don't use sense, won't use sense. In real life, that's just a cheap way to hunt. A lot of people, in certain states, you can bait, where they'll put out the corn feeders and scent lures and all types of stuff just to attract animals and sit far away and shoot them. That's not hunting to me. They're fake hunters. If you can actually go out in the woods and track an animal down and kill it, then more power to you. But so again, just put one in this just to unlock tier 1. This top perk here is Spotting Knowledge. This is an amazing section here. It reveals all of the information about the animals. I love it. Like I said, you all don't have to if you don't want, but you would have to do this, or you'd have to put your other 3 in Scent Tinkerer to be able to unlock tier 2. So I put it here for the Spotting Knowledge. Now doing so, this perk, which my next skill point, this is where I'm putting it. Whenever you're in aim mode with the weapon, you can spot the animal. Now with doing so, when you spot it, all of this information is going to come with that. You're never going to have to swap between your sight and your binoculars. You can always just keep out your gun, and it'll also free up another quick access slot in your inventory, which would be nice. Again, you have to put, I believe, 5 skills total to unlock tier 2. So I put one here just so you're making a little bit more money when you're completing these story missions and side missions. Never hurts to make more money, even if it is only 5%. This one here adds a random chance of attracting an animal that's not usually attracted by a particular scent. Again, I don't use scent, so that's worthless to me. I stay away from the scent ones. I know in the other map, not Leighton Lakes, the Hirschfield or however it's pronounced. In that map, they have some story missions where you're supposed to use scents. But I don't play that map. I don't like that map compared to Leighton Lakes. Moving on, this one here is why I had reset my skills in Stalker to take those 2 away. Because I needed one to be able to put in here. Increased chance of attracting animals to your location when using collars. This is amazing. This works phenomenally. I mean, anytime you hear a warning call, crouch, hit a collar for that animal, and they're 90% going to walk almost on top of you, at least 20 yards away. So you have a good shot, whether you want to do it with a bow, or if you just want to stick with your rifle to get that quick, easy kill. This one here is pointless. Falling damage. I mean, there's not many times you're going to be falling to take damage. It's not worth the skill point to me. Like I said, I'm going to put this one in when I have a chance. As you see, I don't have any of the tier. You have to spend 9 skill points, which as it sits right now, I've spent 6 skill points. So I don't even know if I'm going to get to this one here. But if I did, this one would be the one that would get the point. Adds a random chance of attracting a species that is not usually attracted by a particular collar. And the only reason I say that would be there's many times where I'm surrounded by moose, elk, deer, and bears on Leighton Lakes. And if you were to hit one collar and at least 2 different species came with, the one species that's for the collar and just one random one came over, I mean, that would come in handy. I mean, I would like that for sure. Now, remember with these 2 collars here, why this is going to come in handy later on. I'll show you with the perk system now. With perks, you're going to want to do rifles. I mean, this is going to be your bread and butter. This is how you're going to be making money to be able to buy more things, which I might make another video to, give you a good idea of what you should do when you're first starting off on this game. But for right now, just for this video's sake, I would only do these 4 that you see here. This one's pointless. You shouldn't really be using irons, red dot, hollow sights, and when you do, you're not going to use it enough to need this perk. Now this is what I keep as active here. This is an amazing perk. It unlocks short range 0 and unlocks long range 0. It is phenomenal. Like with rifles, it's 82 yards for short. It's default for mid range, which is what your rifle's already set at. It's 164. Long range is 328. This phenomenal. Now you can only have one active perk at a time that I've found. This one down here, I had done it before. I reset these perks because this is useless. I didn't know that you could only have one green active at a time. This is pointless. The only time you would really need to know the wind is when you're using a bow and arrow. And you should be close enough, 20 yards is where you should be at taking down animals with the bow. This is a useless perk. Never waste a skill or a perk point on this. Moving on down to handguns. Now, this one here, the ability to reload all weapons while running is amazing. Use this every time I play. Phenomenal. This top perk here is pointless. Cover a steady aim faster after changing stances when using handguns. Sorry guys, can't speak. Pointless perk. Um, I mean, I used the handguns already. I ranked them all the way up, the max that you could to unlock everything. I would have never have needed this. I'm standing or I'm crouched. I'm not switching between both. Now you have to put one here just so you can get up. And it doesn't hurt. I mean, there's a lot of times where I'll shoot an animal, and I mean, most of the times that I've been killed in this game has been by deer. It has never been by a bear or a coyote or anything. But you have to put one here just to get to the next tier. So you have to put this one here. A lot of people like this, just so when you're aiming, you can, click the button and find out how far away the animal actually is. But in doing so, you're going to lose out on this rifle perk for the 0. So now, if you did switch to this perk here, you're going to know the animal's out at, say, 300 yards. Well, now your rifle is stock at 164 yards. So now you're going to have to adjust and hope that you get a good shot. Whereas the other way, if I know they're out at a distance, I'm just going to set it at 328 yard shot and just aim for the spine every time. And drop the animal right in its tracks. Now in doing so, like I said, you have to do these two just so you can get up here. This is amazing. Decreases reload time of all weapons. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Using the 7mm, the 338, so be it. The reload time is terrible on those weapons. So having this, even if it's just a little bit, half a second quicker, it's well worth it. Amazing, amazing perk, putting those up. This one here increases the speed and accuracy of hip shots using any weapon. Occasionally I'll hip fire. When I was using the handgun, I would sometimes just to try it out. The accuracy is so well with it, you don't really need this. I wouldn't waste perk points with this. And again, I don't have all of the perk points yet. So I don't know what I'm going to have left over. But even if I do have some left over, it probably won't go into this. Moving on. Shotguns. I haven't put any in here. The shotguns are terrible right now until you can, get the slug, which I haven't unlocked the slug round yet. Shotguns, you have to be roughly 20 yards, preferably 10 yards away to be able to get a good shot placement to drop a deer. I mean, a moose or an elk, you're not going to do much damage. I mean, I've killed them, but like I said, you have to be stupid close using that buckshot. And even looking at these, decrease edge blur while using shotguns, that doesn't appeal to me. Increase the speed of entering and exiting aim mode with using any weapon. That one I might be interested in, just for getting quick shots while I'm using a rifle, since it is with any weapon. Weapon sights align faster after rotating with any weapon. Again, that doesn't really fit to me. That's not a key factor for me right here. Now this one here, less recoil when firing any weapon and able to fire a follow-up shot sooner. Again, using a rifle, you're using the 7mm or the 338. It's a break action gun. I mean, you're not going to have a follow-up shot. You're going to have to reload. You have one shot to take, and that's it. So recoil doesn't matter. That's pointless. And only time this would really be needed would maybe be with handguns. That's the only time I can think of that would be nice to be able to put a follow-up shot sooner and have less recoil. So if you're real big with handguns, this perk's going to be very nice for you, even though it's under the shotgun category. Moving up here again, green ones I'd stay away from. They're pointless. Trigger tracer shot when firing shotguns will look cool, but it's pointless. And able to fire both chambers at the same time when using a double barrel shotgun. Again, you might be able to get some more kills doing so, then you're going to have an active perk on, and again, you're going to lose out on that rifle 0, which that 0 goes for every weapon. Shotguns, bow, handgun, everything. So again, I'd stay away from all the greens that you can. Now, earlier on I said to remember about for the collars, the increased range in collars on the skills here. Let's see, it's under ambush here. It's right here, increased chance of attracting animals to your location when using collars. This is where if you're going to be using the bow, it's going to come in handy because you can take down an animal, hit the collar, and the whole herd of elk or so be it will come right back. Take out another one, use the collar, they come right back. And you can take out a whole herd of 15, 20 Roosevelt elk using a bow and arrow. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to want to have this down here. Increased arm strength means more draw length. You're going to get more penetration with your arrows, and you're going to be able to drop some of the bigger game a lot easier with your bow. So as you see here, full draw, I just have one end to unlock the next one. Pointless perk, you don't need to worry about it. Move and shoot, decreased wobble when moving in A mode using any weapon. It is kind of nice for certain weapons, but again, you only put one here to unlock the next rank. If you look up top here, boost accuracy of all bows. You're shooting 20 yards away, you don't need anything in that. And here unlocks the ability to enter A mode with the bow while prone. You're going to lay down, pull back, then you're going to pop up. Well, when you pop up, the animal's going to see you and take off. I just stay crouched, don't move, call it in, get it within 20 yards. Again, that's going to be a pointless perk right there. So here unlocks the ability to retrieve arrows. Again, only have one in here just to unlock this pumping iron. Decrease the chance that an arrow will break upon impact is the next one here. If I don't have any extra, hold on. If I don't have, when I have extra perk points, I might put one in here just to, be able to retrieve, but money's not really an issue. As you see in the top left, I have 150k, and that's after wasting money buying, almost every weapon in the game and so on. But pumping iron is what you want to focus on, and that's going to be key. But that should conclude for the... Yeah, I know, little kids just won't be quiet. Sorry, guys. Again, that should conclude the skills and the perks for, the Hunter Call of the Wild. And that should help you all out. I hope it does. That way you're not wasting your skill points like I did, where whenever I reset the Stalker tree, I had 17 skill points in here, and it cost me around $60-something thousand to reset this tree. So doing so, you're going to be saving a lot of money if you can go ahead and get these where they need to be. But thanks for tuning in, and like I said, I might make a guide for all the people that are just starting off so you know how to save your money up for certain items and not waste buying, some of the cheaper, lower end guns. It'll help you a lot in the long run. But thank you for tuning in. Have a nice night.